The invisible arrow, the arrow of time. Paradox. Time flows in one direction, a relentless current taking you forward, yet you grasp at it like fine sand slipping through your fingers. Philosophers have debated this paradox for centuries. You feel the weight of the present, but memories haunt you from behind, and the future remains a question mark. This peculiar relationship with time reveals itself in moments of introspection. When you recall a joyful past, it feels vivid, alive, while future plans linger as distant, uncertain paths. You live today amid the contrast. The urgency of the clock ticks steadily, a constant reminder of your progression toward an inevitable end. Yet trapped in this forward motion, you long to retrieve the laughter of yesterday. Time is like the invisible arrow. You cannot touch it, yet it pierces your being. As each second glides by, you are left wondering, does this journey possess meaning? In your mind, conversations with the past and dreams of the future intertwine. You shape your identity from fragmented moments, building something whole from what time tears apart. The ship of Theseus becomes your vessel. You wonder whether each passing experience replaces another, until all that's left is a hollow framework of who you once were. The paradox remains. You are ever changing, yet you long for continuity. As you walk through each day, you experience the tension between memory and expectation. There is a longing for permanence, yet existence tells you this cannot be. The arrow reminds you of transience. Each decision, each interaction becomes a pebble in the rushing river of time, invisible yet impactful. Caught in this paradox, you feel an urgent need to live meaningfully in the present, while questioning the passage of what once was. The arrow whispers of inevitability. You can't reverse course, you will only follow where it leads, accepting the silent truth that time, ever elusive, will never relinquish its grip. And then you acknowledge, in that uncomfortable recognition, the weight of this unchanging fact. You are here for a fleeting moment, and the void stares back. You're never the same. Identity and change, ship of Theseus. You observe your reflection, yet it feels foreign. Familiar features stare back, yet deep within, layers of self have shifted. The ship of Theseus presents a haunting question of continuity. If every part of you adapts, do you remain the same vessel? Your experiences mold your identity, reshaping it with each passing day. A simple walk outside reveals it profoundly. The sun illuminates the leaves, but those leaves too will change and fall. In nature, you see a parallel. Everything is in flux. The canvas of existence updates with every passing moment. You realize, as a person among others, you are constantly evolving. Each choice, mistake, and triumph redefines your story. You are the soul of the ship, yes, but each replacement plank creates anxiety. With every interaction, you seem different. A shared laugh springs forth memories, even as deeper understandings alter your perspective. There resides the tension between the past you recall fondly and the present you inhabit. Are you still the same when responding to an old friend, or does a piece of yourself remain in the echo of who you once were? Moments arise when you retrace a familiar narrative, but time insists on transformation. The paradox lies in the question of belonging. You cling to the past out of fear of losing what came before, yet every heartbeat charts an unknown course. Intricacies of thought, emotions flickering like shadows on a wall. Is this not the greatest truth of existence? In this relentless reformation, you realize the essence of being is not permanence, but the courage to embrace change. Each version of you carries a trace of those that came before. Your identity becomes a constellation, glorious yet fragmented, rising and falling with every dawn and dusk. And as you breathe in this awareness, the void stares back, challenging, shifting, yet utterly self-assured. The clock doesn't know who you are. Psychological time versus chronological time. The ticking of the clock is relentless, an all too familiar backdrop to your existence. Yet, you know, it doesn't care about who you are or how you feel. Time waits for no one, marching forward, relentless, indifferent. Philosophically speaking, chronological time serves as a uniform ruler, cutting life into neat segments, seconds, minutes, hours. But psychological time dances to its own rhythm, bending with emotion, memory, and dread. When you are captivated by joy, moments stretch into eternity. Yet in sorrow, a single minute can feel like an age trapped in shadow. In a crowded room, laughter rings out. Time feels expansive. You lose track of reality, absorbed in warmth and connection. Outside, in the world of marks and numbers, the clock ticks forward, oblivious to your inner landscape. It's in these contrasts you begin to perceive the truth. You are a creature of perception, shaped by your own markers more than those of the ticking stopwatch. As nostalgia washes over you, the past feels alive, while tomorrow remains shrouded in mist. Each memory distorts and reconstructs your experience. Time is a canvas. Sometimes it crumbles underfoot, while other moments soar. The psychological aspect becomes evident in how you slice up your life. Like a chef gathers ingredients, you sift through experiences, memories adorning your mental banquet. Some savory, others bittersweet. You ponder this duality. Each experience colors your perception of time. Still, you remain tethered to the clock's rigid passage. It imposes order and chaos in equal measure. The present dances on the tightrope between fleeting sensation and the heavy weight of obligation. So, you wonder, what is more real, the clock's face or your perception of it? You find solace in this ambiguity. The essence of living lies within the rhythm of your own existence, irrespective of the hours clanging away. And there it is once more, that quiet spectre lingering beneath it all, and the void stares back. You are dying right now. Entropy and organic disintegration. A familiar ache settles in your bones, a reminder of change. In every heartbeat lies the acknowledgement of decay. Death doesn't wait for a grand finale. It breathes slowly within you, a whisper of entropy, quietly dismantling each part of your being. You stand in front of a mirror, and while the reflection seems constant, a current of inevitable disintegration flows beneath the surface. Nature tells a different story. Every living thing bears the mark of time. Snowflakes melt, leaves fall, and animals fade. You are part of this cycle, yet the notion of your own fading feels like the elusive monster lurking just out of reach. Philosophers and scientists alike speak of time as a thief, not merely stealing moments but claiming flesh and bone. Your consciousness grapples with this reality. It fights to remain unscathed even as it knows all is temporary. Each passing second is a quiet step toward an inevitable close, and yet you persist in your pursuits, creating, loving, and feeling. But within this existential dread, beauty resides. In accepting your mortality, you also embrace significance. Moments become precious, relationships deepen, laughter rings louder, and shared experiences shimmer, clinging to fragments of every cherished memory. You draw strength from the knowledge that every heartbeat counts. Yet amid the forces of decay, you witness a struggle. The desire for permanence clashes with the inexorable march toward the end. You seek solace in creation and connection, crafting legacies that might outlast you. It is a grieving heart that acknowledges, ultimately, you are a beautiful contradiction, lovingly alive even as you are dying, every moment pushing you closer to the unknown. And in that surrender, you find clarity. Time is both your enemy and your companion, the paradox of being fully alive while slowly slipping away. And the void stares back. The day the future stopped. Death as the end of projection. You gaze into a horizon uninhibited by the burden of tomorrow. It stretches far, yet feels diminished. The future, once vibrant with hopeful possibilities, has faded into a shadow of what might be. This is the day the future stopped for you, an abrupt cessation of dreams and aspirations, where the fabric of longing unravels before your eyes. Each plan, meticulously crafted, lies limp upon the table. The realities of mortality are stark. Recent events or losses serve as reminders that life is not promised. Within this starkness, the lesson is profound. The promise of tomorrow evaporates like mist at dawn, and you confront the brimming stillness that follows. Culturally, we weave stories around our ambitions. We place our hopes upon a pedestal, believing they are immutable. And yet, the persistence of mortality casts long shadows. Death does not merely extinguish light. It alters the very landscapes of expectation and hope. You're left with fragments where visions of the future once bloomed. This disjunction creates a haunting introspection. What does it mean to project forward when the ground beneath feels precariously unstable? It elicits a deeper understanding of what you value. The poignant weight of each moment bursts forth, demanding your attention. The beauty of the now emerges in sharp relief when tomorrow appears uncertain. Through this loss of forward motion, something unsettling yet liberating occurs. You cultivate presence amid uncertainty. You learn to embrace fleeting joy, recognizing the impermanence that dances brightly in the shadows. Each breath, however shallow, becomes an act of defiance against the void, a claim to the vitality of now, a powerful testament to resilience. And so you sit, quietly acknowledging the fragility of it all, surrendering to the silence of a future that may never arrive. The acceptance settles within. This is where meaning lies. In the spaces where endings intertwine with new beginnings, where possibilities fade into the power of existence. You realize within this paradox, the stillness isn't empty. It holds promise in its surrender, and the void stares back. Memories are the present pretending to be the past. Reconstructed time in the mind. You sift through the dust of recollections like an archaeologist of the mind. Each fragment sparkles, yet it's entangled with embellishments, fading details, and misremembered dialogues. The past doesn't vanish. It transforms into something new, shaped by the prism of your current self. Memories are like photographs that gradually lose their color. You can recall the laughter, the scenes alive with vibrancy, but then the edges blur, shifting into a hazy outline of what once was. In conversations with others, the discrepancies in recollections become evident. Their laughter accompanies tales that no longer align with yours, twisted slightly by individual perception. The act of remembering becomes a delicate choreography, each partner holding a different version of the same dance. You realize your past is the construct of now, embellished, reimagined. The present swells and contracts around these memories, as if the heart of time beats in a rhythm all its own, untouched by the linearity you so desperately cling to. Psychologically, memory functions as a storyteller. It interlaces threads of experience, weaving them into a narrative that sometimes feels more comfortable than reality. This artistry of recollection lays bare the human need for connection and understanding. Reflecting upon lost friends, you find warmth amidst ache. Those shared moments morph, becoming a balm for loneliness. Yet, don't the shadows of forgetting linger at the border? As you attach emotions to experiences, nostalgia constructs layers, enfolding the raw edges in soft, familiar fabric. The tenderness hides the paradox, the truth and the fabrication runoff, intertwining like roots of a great tree. It reveals not just who you were, but hints at who you long to be. Within the labyrinth of your mind, the journey becomes not about accuracy, but about meaning. You savor moments anew, fabricating a past that comforts you, filled with smiles and warmth. These memories remind you of time's fickle nature, What was once sharp edges softens into gentler shapes. Ultimately, you exist, a tapestry of reconnections, not merely as history, but as an ongoing evolution of self. The presence of today mingles with the spectral forms of yesterday's gone. And in that melancholic embrace, the void stares back. Death is becoming irrelevant to your own story. Death as the end of narrative perspective. Life hums with a rhythm, punctuated by stories, your stories, each binding thread weaving into your identity. But then there's death, the silence, the finality that complicates even the most vivid narratives. Once thought inevitable, death begins to fade, often relegated to a distant haze, becoming merely a page turned late in the novel. Its relevance diminishes as you chase continuously after dreams and moments. Observe how society has carved an uncanny distance between living and dying. You scroll through depictions of death, felt, yet forgotten. Underneath the collective anxiety lies the uncomfortable truth. It is rarely your own ending that weighs heavily. It's the deaths of others that etch into the fabric of your existence. Your life often swells in contrast to those ongoing narratives. You resume the dance of life, focusing on vibrant experiences as if death's shadow doesn't reach you. The narratives that accompany your life often render death speculative, an abstraction kicked to the curb during daily bustle. Inverting this lens reveals an unsettling reality. If everyone dances past mortality's edge, what does it mean to see it clearly? You realize that in accommodating the relevance of death, you also confront the threads left hanging, stories unfinished, emotions unresolved. In embracing the possibilities of existence, consider how the awareness of your own death layers depth upon your story. Each moment gained resonates knowing that this fleeting essence amplifies your experiences. Life flourishes not in the absence of mortality, but in the heart of it. Yet allowing death to linger quietly in the background grants an unusual freedom. Living becomes sharper as you recognize the weight of every fleeting moment therein. Consciousness flourishes, and you relish what is here now. And as life pulses around you, the void stares back, reminding you of its quiet power. You never see the last page, inability to experience your own death. A book lies open, pages fluttering, but you will never reach the last one. This poignant truth strikes at the heart of existence. You navigate life with a robust narrative, yet the end, your end, remains elusive, forever unwritten, just out of view. Each plot twist informs your character, builds layers of understanding in the face of an unresolved arc. You live each rise and fall, weaving through relationships and experiences, blissfully unaware that the final chapter waits unwritten. Events unfold, pulling you in, exhilarating you as you dance amid joys and sorrows, yet the closure eludes your grasp. This absence builds tension, a visionary push towards an unknown, while you wrestle with breaths laden with questions. What awaits at the end of the line? Philosophers have pored over this vague extension. Your inability to witness your demise creates a curious paradox. Life is filled with endings and beginnings, yet the most crucial event lies beyond your scope. You observe others leaving this world, the echoes of their conclusions framing your complexities. Still, the inherent nature of living shields you, cloaked from your conclusion, weaving its intricacy into the fabric of your story. In this intricate setup, your days become punctuated with urgency and immediacy. Relationships deepen, and moments stretch into significance. The struggle to foretell what lies down the path of your story rises in a crescendo of anticipation. How do you validate your existence when the greatest discovery remains forever hidden? With discussion lingering on the edges of mortality, you anchor into the present. You find solace within the unknown, valuing each page turned as a reflection of your essence. You exist as the storyteller and protagonist, radiant, vibrant, and utterly alive. Ultimately, such invaluable nature of existence amplifies daily life. You are driven by infinite possibilities until your ink runs dry, caught forever in the push and pull of narrative. And in that profound awareness, the void stares back. The death is the only truth that feels like a lie. Psychological denial of mortality. You experience the absurdity of life while staring directly into the void. Death lurks nearby, a constant companion you refuse to acknowledge. It wears a mask of denial, whispering softly against the noise of daily life. This psychological maneuver breeds an unsettling tension. You may brush against the hard truth of mortality, yet something within keeps you from staring it straight in the face. Culturally, death has been painted in unimaginable hues, a tragic ending, an intimidating spectre. The weight of finality feels distant, a spectre guarded behind the veil of comfort. You perceive others' struggles, watching as they slip away, shrouded in silence, while their lives continue to parade around you. To confront mortality becomes a haunting dichotomy. You feel its pulse rhythm beneath the surface, yet the everyday cacophony muffles this relentless truth. Security becomes your refuge, deluding you into believing life is an unending continuum. You shy away from discussions that wrestle with death, masked in shared laughter and mundane exchanges. Yet, within this denial, a rebellion brews. A restless longing surfaces amidst the awareness that death carries urgency, not just for those crossing over, but for those who remain. Each moment is vivid, carrying an electric weight that reverberates through existence. Life persists with joyful resilience while shadows lurk behind the curtain, leading to a tension simmering just beneath your skin. This inverse relationship with death allows you to appreciate the ephemeral. Paradise lies in acceptance of your temporal nature, embracing the bittersweet beauty that life offers. You hold tightly to laughter, infinite connections, precious fleeting moments, yet the weight of understanding still presses gently. After all, the lie is not in death itself, but in the fear of its touch. You learn that to navigate life is to dance lightly along the edges of the truth, within a reality that is tender and fragile. And in that realization, the void stares back. The future never arrives. Continuous present. Your gaze bridges the gap between today and tomorrow, yet it feels like a mirage. Each sunset hints at possibilities, yet morning offers little more than the present moment. The future never arrives. It remains an intricate tapestry of plans, hopes, and anxieties. It whispers of tomorrow while leaving you rooted here and now. Philosophers describe the continuous present, an unyielding reality where moments slip in and out of existence like shadows on a wall. You move through your days caught in time's relentless grasp, while daydreams drift like clouds, threatening to obscure any notion of what lies ahead. Your mind sketches blueprints, a calendar full of dreams with individual dates lined out waiting for you to claim them. Yet as each day unfolds, time feels oddly chopped, fragmented. Each task demands your attention, devouring minutes that recede like waves. You find comfort in routines, yet they also carry a sense of entrapment. Days pile up, they envelop your consciousness, but rarely adhere to the promise of future rewards. The realization that the present perpetuates its claim can be unnerving. Desires, once overflowing with zealous anticipation, lose their shine. You seek the next thing, only to find that life continues in unsteady flux. Every moment dances in the tension of expectation and reality, weaving through joy and apprehension alike. You long for resolution, but the horizon remains elusive. Perhaps this acknowledges the truth. Encourage presence instead of anticipation. When you relinquish expectations of tomorrow, life takes on a new form. Each moment burns brighter, revealing the beauty hidden in both ordinary occurrences and extraordinary encounters. The future, while always a breath away, becomes an afterthought. In unearthing this continuous present, you embrace the now, discovering the elegance that lies in simple experiences while tethering your awareness to what is actual, right in front of you. You learn to cherish every flicker of existence, crystallizing the fleeting nature of each heartbeat. And as you embrace this reality, the void stares back, reminding you that all is rendered in the immediacy of now. And so, the void stares back. You're alive until you forget you were alive. Mental death through dementia. A warm cup rests heavily in your palm, steam curling up in lazy tendrils. But as you sip, a shadow of anxiety curls around your mind. Each flavor, each scent feels unmoored, foreign. What do these moments mean if they slip like sand through your fingers? You're reminded of fragility, of life fluttering in and out like pages torn from a favorite book. The gradual fading of memories becomes an unsettling ghost haunting your every day. Dementia is a quiet thief, creeping through the corridors of thought and emotion, taking what once defined you. It is a slow unraveling, where familiarity bleeds into haziness. What was vibrant turns pale. Friends and family begin to echo as strangers, faces shifting into vague impressions. It gnaws at your identity, crafting a dissonance between who you are and who you were. You live in a state of constant déjà vu, a disquieting loop that leaves you restless. The paradox emerges. You are alive, yet the self feels ghost-like. In these moments, the world shifts beneath your feet. Time becomes disjoined. How do you mark the progression of existence when the memories that shaped you flicker like faulty lights? You cling tightly to the tangible, objects, routines, but the essence of why they're meaningful starts to elude you. The urgency of remembering pushes you, yet the mind plays cruel tricks. Fragments surface, a child's laughter, the scent of summer grass, but your connection to them remains tenuous. All that you love hangs in a precarious balance, as clarity dims and shadows swallow certainty. You live in a liminal space where you are bodily present, but cognitively adrift. But within this chaos, you resist being wholly defined by loss. Flashes of connection still bloom amidst the fog. Conversations swaddle you in fragments of reality, intermittently igniting a spark of recognition. You experience the world, often bewildered, yet still tethered to moments that pierce through the haze. The senses become a lifeline when language falters. You savor flavors, laughter, touch that insist on anchoring you to the now. Yet, as each day passes, you learn that existence does not always require memory to hold weight. You grapple with acceptance as the line between living and forgetting blurs. Every breath reminds you of aliveness, even as pieces of you slip away. This paradox burgeons in every heartbeat, a poignant reminder that to be alive is to be pliable, to endure even in the face of gradual disappearance. And as the fog rises and falls, the void stares back. Time isn't moving. You are. Existential relativity of time. The sun climbs high, yet the ticking clock on the wall feels like a distant echo, an arbitrary measurement that dismisses the essence of your experience. In these moments, you sit engulfed in thoughts, realizing that time might be less a linear path and more an illusion, molded by your perception and your rhythms. You are not simply moving through time. Rather, you are enacting a peculiar dance, each step an expression of your desires, fears, and curiosities. Philosophers have long posited that time is relative. It breaks under the weight of your emotions. In joyous moments, time stretches, curves, and expands into infinite dimensions. One laugh with a friend, one intimate conversation. These become the markers of time that remain vibrant in your memory. Yet, when sorrow consumes you, it compresses, drawing you into an abyss that feels unyielding. Seconds feel like hours as you grapple with loss or anxiety. You find yourself reflecting on the nature of existence, rushing through errands, drowning in tasks. The world at large rarely pays homage to your subjective experience. You're swept along, and yet you hold the power to redefine it. Each moment calls you to be fully present, to recognize that the stillness you sometimes crave lies within time itself, just waiting for you to notice. Humans feel drawn to quantify experiences, to press events into neat boxes, while dialects of time slip away unnoticed. You realize you have the agency to reconstruct your relationship with it. Instead of racing against time, you begin accepting its fluidity. You slow down as awareness takes root. Savor the sun on your skin, the laughter bubbling within. Embrace the present with grace, finding the beauty in the mundane. The world whirs around you, yet you root your existence in those small moments, tiny revolutions against the mundane inertia of clocks and calendars. You start to inhabit time as a fluid canvas, where weeks blur into exuberance or despair, where presence becomes your greatest refuge. In this realization, you begin to craft time anew. Here lies the acceptance of the ever-flowing now, an understanding that while you traverse space, you elevate your existence by simply being here. And with that acceptance, the void stares back. You die in silence. But the world screams. Death versus ongoing world. Outside your window, life unfolds. A bustling symphony of laughter, voices, the rustle of leaves. Yet here you sit, aware of the silence that inevitably accompanies your own mortality. It's a profound stillness, the admission that one day this pulse, this experience will cease to resonate. The world continues its frenetic pace, completely unaware of the quiet chasm you feel widening within. Death, in its raw inevitability, becomes a spectre, looming yet oddly distant, an uninvited guest in the fabric of your mind. Onlookers carry on with their daily rituals, completely immersed in life, unaware of the weight of absence that you contemplate. You watch their vibrant interactions while feeling profoundly disconnected, caught in this unique juxtaposition of existence. This tension often breeds a profound existential questioning. How do you find meaning in a world so indifferent to its endings? Each life that fades coexists alongside ongoing narratives, persistent as the seasons. You see echoes of their lives in others, sounding off the fragility of connection. You question, is there significance in existing in a world that moves forward unabashedly, often leaving pain and loss lingering in the wake? In grappling with this disgraceful quietness, you start to acknowledge the beauty of living amidst uncertainty. Awareness of death sharpens the lens through which you perceive life. Each interaction, each moment entangled with laughter or tears becomes precious, suffused with layers of meaning. Perhaps the world does not need to acknowledge your passing for it to hold significance. You realize that the silence surrounding your introspection lends itself to clarity. In accepting death's reality, you cultivate a deeper appreciation for connections, investing in relationships, and cherishing shared moments. In this reckoning, you find urgency within stillness, a compelling motivation to engage fully, here and now, with an understanding that every beat holds the potential for resonance. You live between those moments where your truth and the world's noise clash. It amplifies your aliveness, even when silence looms. You build a life wrapped in meaning, fluid and tender, despite the paradox that remains. And in that acceptance, the void stares back. Life is a clumsy rehearsal for something we never understand: human condition and mortality. The curtain rises and you step onto the stage, heart pounding. The lights shine brightly, illuminating your face. In these moments, you embrace the clumsiness of existence, embodying roles that shift, often unpredictably. Life feels choreographed yet chaotic, a rehearsal where the script never quite aligns with reality. each movement laced with uncertainty. As you play out your scenes, you stumble and fumble. Words fail to capture what you feel deep inside. You grasp for understanding, yet it eludes you, teasing you like a shadow never fully realized. Daily rituals, relationships, and ambitions intertwine, forming a jagged tapestry of aspirations marred by the randomness of circumstance. Philosophers speak of life as a rehearsal, preparing you for inevitable endings. Yet each act may feel disconnected from the purpose behind it. Awareness looms like a tide, often pulling you into the currents of existential questioning. Why do you engage with the why when answers remain elusive? In pursuing clarity, you find the profundity lies not in certainty, but in the clumsiness itself. Every misstep becomes a lesson. Each stumble connects you to others, weaving a sense of shared vulnerability that binds hearts across the expanse of human experience. Here, you establish bonds, claiming the rawness of connection as invaluable. The paradox stands. While searching for truth, the incompleteness fosters a resonance that stirs the soul. In this awareness, you begin to lean into the discomfort, recognizing it as a vital part of the human condition. You show up, flawed and radiant, full of dreams tinged with fragility. The act of living becomes its own form of art, where grace emerges amidst imperfections. Though the final curtain remains unwritten, perhaps that very ambiguity bestows life with vibrancy. You build your story upon the messy truths, as uncertain as they may be. And with acceptance, the void stares back. Nothing dies. It just turns into forgetting, death as a shift into invisibility. You watch as the colors slowly fade from the world around you. The brilliance of vibrant life drips into an aching somberness. Reality shifts, smells and textures dull. Nothing expires. It merely transforms into something nebulous, an ethereal echo you can barely grasp. This is how death unfolds, in a slow erosion that stretches beyond a mere moment, seeping into the consciousness of existence. Every cherished memory begins to fray like a well-worn photograph. The moments that lit up your life now shimmer faintly, in the distant corners of your mind. It becomes an unsettling truth. What lingers? You feel the weight of every experience that has slipped through your fingers, transforming into an intangible spectre, hidden beneath the surface of forgetting. The society around you often shies away from acknowledging death's inevitability, painting it in abstraction. Conversations flutter by, touching superficially on that fleeting breath. As dialogues morph into euphemisms, life continues to pulse along its axis, while the spectre of forgetting looms in shadows. You begin to notice how often loss dances in quiet corners, a ghost that haunts the living. Yet it is not merely loss, it is a transformation, a cycle echoing through existence. The flux around you reveals beauty in impermanence. In understanding this profound reality, you grasp at the threads of connection, holding tighter to the present before it fractures into memory. Life does not end, it mutates, evolving into new forms. You explore the symbolism inherent in forgetting, finding the courage to embrace change. The dignity of loss becomes evident as you forge meaning from fragments, honoring what has faded while remaining alive to what is currently unspooling. Living, then, is neither merely an accumulation nor an ending. It's the acceptance of transition and wear, which reveals depth within you. You learn to cherish with curiosity rather than dread, nurturing connections anew. A depth arises in the understanding that existence itself is a series of rebirths, the cyclical nature where endings hold the promise of beginnings. And within this realization, the void stares back. What's left when time runs out? Finitude and post-time existence. Time is a relentless companion. It counts down, ticking softly yet irrevocably, reminding you of life's fragility. Each moment is precious, a heartbeat that vanishes into the void. The present feels vital, Yet beneath the surface lies the inescapable truth. Everything you know must one day conclude. You face this reality differently depending on your perspective. As the hourglass runs low, you ponder what remains when time stops altogether. Do the echoes of your laughter dissolve into silence, or do they linger? What mark do you leave when the final moment arrives? In existential thought, the finitude of time prompts contemplation of existence without the scaffolding of days and minutes, an unsettling question. What persists beyond the ticking clock? You consider the nature of legacy, not merely an act of remembrance, but an imprint you create through choices, love, and experiences. When time runs its course, the stories you grow, the connections you form, do they fade or do they transform? This question dances like a flickering candle in the dark, hinting that perhaps, in the face of oblivion, your essence seeps into the very fabric of the world. Each interaction holds significance. Underneath the surface lies a tapestry of connections woven by shared moments. The bright laughter, the tearful farewells, each represents a thread in the intricate fabric of life that, even after you are gone, maintains its integrity. Your essence intertwines with others, flowing through their memories like water. Time may run out, but what you made of your existence continues, echoing in the stories told in your name. There's a paradox in living with awareness of your own finitude. Awareness furthers appreciation, inviting you to savor the fleeting, to hold tight to love while it lasts. It emphasizes the urgency of today, propelling you toward meaningful experiences filled with intentionality. Each act becomes profound when contrasted with the inevitability of absence. So, as you navigate through time, you learn not to fear its end. Instead, you hold it gently, poised to embrace its passing. For even in silence, even in the final breath, there lies the stirring possibility of rebirth in remembrance. And in that understanding, the void stares back. Each breath pushes you closer to the end. Biology of time. You inhale deeply, filling your lungs with air. Each breath a reminder, a rhythm that moves you toward your inevitable conclusion. Biologically, the march of time is relentless. Cells die, organs age, and the essence of youth fades. In this dance of life, each inhalation signifies not just existence, but the gradual approach to an endpoint, emphasizing time's unyielding grip. As you exist within this biological cycle, the clock becomes a solemn reminder of entropy at play. You observe the bodies around you, witnesses to the same cycle. Fleeting vitality envelops you. Moments of joy feel electric, yet there lies a permanence in the knowledge that each second pulls you closer to a fading. You feel the hunger of time in your bones, whispering about decay beneath the surface. You confront a tension found in the inevitability of breath. How to appreciate life while knowing it marches toward its own ending? With such awareness, how do you perceive the nature of living? A pulse remains entwined with the cadence of time, breathing in and out, yet time rarely acknowledges the intimacy of its passage. While you thrive on vibrant moments, you are simultaneously carried forward by an unseen force, an invisible anchor to the ground of mortality. In navigating this reality, you realize the call isn't merely to survive, but to deepen each moment with intention. Life becomes a delicate balance of cherishing the fleeting nature of now while remaining grounded in the ultimate truth of existence. There lays beauty in the cycles, in recognizing that each breath is not an absence, but a presence, urging you to engage fully. With each pulse, you write a new chapter, crafting meaning from the ongoing interplay of existence and decay. And as this realization settles, the void stares back. You are dying in many universes right now. Mortality in the multiverse. Countless realities weave around you, infinite threads existing side by side. In these timelines, every version of you thrives or fades simultaneously. While you fulfill roles and wear masks, there lies an unsettling truth underlying existence. You are a collection of choices and outcomes, each connected and influenced by another. In this cosmic tapestry, the shadows of mortality whisper their reality in every universe. Imagine a version of yourself, perhaps an artist who achieved the accolades you only dreamed of, a parent who held their child as they grew, or a traveler who circled the globe. All while, in this present moment, you wrestle with the inevitability of your own mortality. Each decision branches out like a fractal, creating paths where variations exist. In one, you live. In another, you fade away. This ongoing parallel existence provides a canvas for introspection. Each breath carries the weight of choices made and those left untraveled. In contemplating your mortality, you come face to face with the bittersweet nature of existence, fully aware of the universes you will never occupy. A part of you grapples with the loss, while another lifts in recognition of the life lived here and now. You begin to understand the importance of this moment. Choices ripple across time. They aren't merely personal. They affect future possibilities. Within the corridors of infinite realities, the urgency to carve your existence becomes palpable. With each fleeting second, you are both dying and thriving in multiple realities, nudging you toward a fuller embrace of life. The contrasting notions of loss within abundance forge an acute appreciation for your presence here. You realize that you can live fully in one universe while mourning the unrealized versions of yourself. Through this lens, every decision acquires weight, acknowledging the beauty of becoming despite the looming specter of deletion. You step into the present with courage, honoring the uniqueness of your existence while embracing the narratives that never played out. And as you contend with this reality, the void stares back. Everything you love will disappear. Emotional impermanence. You grasp the hand of a loved one, feeling warmth radiate through your fingertips, a reminder of shared moments and experiences. Yet with each embrace, a stark realization dawns. Everything you love will one day fade into silence. The beauty of impermanence, while grounding, is also tinged with sadness. It resonates with each heartbeat, echoing softly in the recesses of your mind. Emotional impermanence is woven into the very fabric of existence. Relationships blossom with vibrancy, yet they inevitably confront the shadows of time. As seasons change, so do affections, and the laughter shared once may transform into echoes of longing. In accepting that everything, relationships, experiences, and even the very self, is subject to the relentless march of time, you learn to navigate a delicate tension between love and loss. The world is alive with colors and sensations, yet each moment holds fragility at its core. As you cherish your connections, the undercurrent of inevitability looms. It's a profound understanding that urges you to treasure each second, to speak kindness into existence, and to hold loved ones tightly, even as you confront the eventual fading into memory. But can impermanence be a source of liberation? You begin to recognize that while everything you love may one day disappear, the impact of those connections remains. The lessons learned, the laughter shared, these do not vanish completely. Instead, they drift into a reservoir of memories, forming a beautiful mosaic that enriches your being. Each intertwining of lives creates a thread, one that remains in the echo of experience, even if physical presence slips away. In grappling with this truth, you embrace your vulnerability. You feel love more deeply while translating it into action, every moment cherished, each laugh celebrated. Instead of fearing absence, you lean into presence, finding freedom in acknowledgement that love endures beyond the physical realm. And in that delicate acceptance of futility, the void stares back. Time doesn't heal, it erases. Forgetting and grief. You sit in silence, the weight of memory pressing upon you like a heavy fog. Time, that supposed healer, feels devoid of its promise. Instead, it becomes an ever-present reminder of loss. With each tick of the clock, moments drift away, not toward healing, but into obscurity. Grief surfaces, etching itself into the marrow of your bones, as the past slowly evaporates, and the present becomes a landscape of absence. Days pass, and with them, faces once familiar blur into faded spectres. Conversations you cherished become echoes of laughter dulled, each moment a precious artifact, diminishing in clarity as the real fades into memory. You grasp desperately at these remnants of love and connection, only to watch them crumble in your hands, swallowed by the relentless march of time. The absence of presence distorts reality. Instead of easing the ache, time appears to scatter it into forgetfulness. You begin to question how memories are preserved or abandoned and whether the act of moving forward is synonymous with erasing those you've lost. Loyal ties diminish, slipping into the cracks of memory due to the weight of life's unrelenting progression. But in surrendering to this truth, something transformative begins to surface. You realize that forgetting does not signify defeat. It's a recognition of the impermanent nature of life. Your grief shifts as you learn to honor the experience, not as a sign of weakness, but as a testament to love's vivacity. Grief, you discover, exists in layers. Rather than fighting against the force of time, you lean into its currents. With each breath, you reclaim space for the profound sadness and joy intertwined. Every lost detail may lead to sadness, yet the love once felt remains untouched at the core. So you give yourself permission to feel the weight of absence, a reminder that love, while impermanent, creates connections that persist in time. As years slip by, little memories remain like footprints in the sand, ever present, yet evanescent. And as you surrender to this reality, the void stares back. You'll never live the last day. Sudden death and final unawareness. The sun rises each morning, casting golden beams over a sleeping city. You move through your rituals, unaware that each minute is fleeting, until suddenly it's not. The morning blends seamlessly into the afternoon, and the evening comes. But there's no final curtain call, no monumental closing scene. Life's narrative unfolds without granting you the privilege of experiencing a last day. You often picture what it might be like, a day filled with conscious farewells, delightful reminiscing, steps taken to appreciate the fragments of life that have so deeply shaped you. However, the truth is harsher, lying quietly in wait. Sudden death can strike without warning, leaving a gaping hole where potential final moments should reside. You carry on, propelled by the ordinary, thinking ahead without acknowledging the fragility woven through your daily routine. Philosophers have stated you are always in the middle of a story. But what does it mean if that story can abruptly halt without written closure? The unresolved leaves behind a heaviness lingering softly in the air. Each day unfolds as if time itself gives you a promise, yet in reality, that promise is a delicate mirage. You ponder the vulnerability of those you love, the unpredictable nature surrounding every interaction. The laughter shared over coffee, the late-night conversations, they all seem to hold an urgency that feels inherently human. Yet within that urgency, do you recognize how they may never come again? The acceptance of impermanence urges you to cherish each moment, yet grappling with sudden death intertwines with a fear that hovers at the fringes of your awareness. To approach living within the context of eventual endings opens a chasm of urgency. You learn to appreciate the little victories, the warmth of a shared smile, the taste of food enjoyed with friends, filling those tranquil moments with meaning, knowing that life doesn't always conform to expectations. You live in paradox, forging a balance between moving forward and remaining present, understanding at a cellular level that nothing is guaranteed. Ultimately, the acceptance of your own mortality transforms how you walk through life. You begin to acknowledge that the absence of a last day does not diminish the beauty of existence. Life flourishes with immediacy. There's an aliveness enveloped in each breath, every heartbeat, affirming the richness of what you do have, not what you cannot control. And in recognizing this unconditional urgency, the void stares back. You're always in the middle of the story, temporal incompleteness. Laying back on the grass, you gaze at the clouds drifting overhead, your mind wandering through narratives unwritten, yet unfolding daily. Each person you meet, every choice made, leads you deeper into a tale with no clear end. There lies a certain comfort in this, but also a tension, an unending sense of incompleteness that shapes your journey, whispering truths that resonate beyond the horizon. You realize the human experience is not linear. It's a chaotic interplay of emotions and fluctuations. Moments blur together, and you find yourself in the thick of life, wandering through the chapters without the clarity of foresight or resolution. The past feels unfinished. The future hangs with uncertainty, leaving you suspended in the middle. Consider the characters in your life, the ones intertwined with your narrative. They shape your arcs, yet you share infinity with them, despite never knowing where their stories will take them or how those paths may diverge from yours. Life insists on being a collaboration, an intricate network woven by the choices made, and the echoes of laughter or heartbreak reverberate with each connection. But the uncertainty of not seeing the conclusion unveils a paradox. The plot thickens and untangles simultaneously. Your narrative remains unresolved, allowing room for growth, but skimming the surface of what it may mean to reach a destination. You carry ambitions, dreams, and loose ends unfurling like delicate filaments, each one seeking completion while remaining stifled by the uncertainty of what lies ahead. In recognizing your place within the narrative, you begin to shift your perspective on the unfolding story. The middle also possesses an authenticity imbued with richness. It is raw and beautiful. It encourages you to appreciate personal evolution, draw upon experiences, layer upon layer, while surrendering the need for strict closure or defined endings. Each encounter becomes a thread, not just a dot in an unfinished text. You carve out meaning amidst the chaos. You craft stories that resonate within the complexity of being. The middle, richly textured, compels you to confront the uncertainty as a canvas, vibrant with potential. And in that acknowledgement of persistence, the void stares back. Dying is the body saying it's done, keeping time, biochronology of death. You sit in an old chair, wooden and familiar, feeling the stiffness settle into your bones. With each creak, you ponder the ebb and flow of life, the essential clocks on the wall mapping out seconds and minutes. Yet, there is an underlying whisper within you. Time is not an external entity to conquer, but a biological truth that defines your existence. Every heartbeat signifies the delicate balancing act between being and becoming, awareness and fading. As cells grow, divide and decay, the corporeal form quietly sets its course. Dying is not merely an event, but a process, a relinquishment of the intricate mechanisms once vibrant and agile. Each breath draws you nearer to the paradoxical state where the body declares it can no longer keep pace. You ponder the moments when vitality takes a turn and time itself seems to slow, leaving a vague unease hovering like a spectre. In philosophical discussions, the concept of aging often gets romanticized, yet the experience unfolds differently. While society reveres growth and achievement, it often overlooks the body's deep yearning for rest. There is within you an urge for gentleness, a recognition that life is ultimately transient and fragile. The juxtaposition is striking. While your psyche may cling to the vitality of youth, your body, that faithful companion, begins to tire under the deluge of time. It is through this recognition that the urgency of life unveils itself. You find solace in accepting the cadence of your steps, learning to appreciate where you currently stand amid time's passage. Dying becomes an invitation rather than a closure. In every moment you are made aware. Each rise and fall holds significance. To cherish the mundane is where existence resides in the here and now. Life's beauty blossoms among conflicts, laughter, and quiet defeats. It flourishes amid fragility. In navigating toward acceptance, denying time's relentless passage compels you deeper into presence, allowing you to weave meaning into the delicate fabric of an unending narrative. You realize the body is a storyteller, spinning tales with each heartbeat, even as it prepares to release its hold. And in this surrender lies the truth. The void stares back. Death is not an event, it's a process, continuous dying. You observe the world around you with an acute awareness. Life flows past, vehicles rush by, laughter echoes in the distance, yet beneath the surface there is a quiet, transformative undercurrent. Death lies not in the sudden silence, but within the continuous transitions you experience day by day. It is not a singular, abrupt end. It is an ongoing phenomenon rooted in existence, often overlooked. Each moment lived nudges you closer to that inevitable truth. Biological processes unfold in quiet rhythm. Cells rejuvenate, but others cease to function. You become aware that every breath symbolizes not just life, but also decay. A delicate balance between becoming and unraveling. The act of living intertwines seamlessly with the knowledge of dying. And within this complex dance lies wisdom. Society often romanticizes death as a solitary event, a line drawn in dramatic finality. Yet, your journey reveals a richer tapestry. The veil does not drop abruptly, it thins over time. Each lost breath carries a lesson, surrendering space for renewal even amid loss. Fear may linger in the background, but the knowledge that death is a process encourages you to stay present in the now. You start to recognize that understanding this inevitable transition amplifies your capacity for connection and love. As lives blend, vibrant with shared experiences, you learn to tread lightly, honoring the life force while acknowledging the cyclical nature of being. The transformation aids you in grasping the urgency and weight of moments. Each interaction becomes significant. It may be fleeting, yet it carries the potency of existence itself. In learning to accept dying as an ongoing process, you slowly relinquish fear. You discover depth in recognizing life is not a countdown. It is a canvas where existence colors alive each waking moment, even amid the awareness of mortality. Each breath signifies another page, another stitch in the intricate fabric of your reality. And as this realization dawns, the void stares back. You don't have time. You are time. Ontology of temporal being. A stillness blankets the room. The tick of the clock fills the silence, relentless and mechanical. You often find yourself rushing against it, calculating how to fit every task into a limited span. Yet, during moments of quiet reflection, a realization dawns. You are not merely a figure moving through time. You are time itself, molded by the seconds that compose your existence. Every choice, every memory has shaped your essence, crafting a narrative arc that ebbs and flows. Time is intricately braided with personal reality, an extension of self that acknowledges each breath as a passageway. In grasping this, you unearth an unsettling truth. You imbue moments with meaning. They are not just passing, but the essence of your existence. Philosophers have proposed that the ticking clock is but an illusion. You begin to explore this hypothesis. Can time be experienced as a phenomenon of consciousness rather than a mere linear measurement? The spectrum of emotion, the richness of relationships, it all folds into a reality that transcends the mundane clock face. As you journey through life, you start to confront the discomfort inherent in simply being. Moments swell and collapse, weaving together, revealing how you mold your existence within this temporal framework. You become acutely aware that as you live, you create experiences and feelings that are deeply rooted in both awareness and presence. Time becomes less an adversary and more a collaborator, an intrinsic melody that shapes your interactions. The urgency to act shifts from a place of scarcity to one of fullness, where existence reveals opportunities to savor the here and now. Remembrance molds the future, propelling you into the embrace of what lies ahead. In surrendering to the understanding of time as an ontological state, you become empowered. You learn to inhabit each moment, not as a prisoner, but as a partner, intricately woven into the fabric. And as you awaken to this awareness, the void stares back. Everything you are will only happen once. Existential uniqueness. The paint dries on the canvas, each stroke a moment captured in time. You glance at the unfinished piece, colors splayed in chaos. This is your life, constructed with vibrant choices and fleeting encounters. Yet with each brush against the surface, you confront a daunting realization. Everything you are will only happen once. This life is a singular performance, a culmination of experiences that will never be repeated. Every interaction, every laugh, every tear reflects your distinctive energy and vibrancy. You find beauty in the transient, yet the weight of this truth presses heavily, like a stone in your pocket. What does it mean to exist within this framework of uniqueness? How do you embrace the impermanence of life while grappling with its profound significance? Your choices, deliberate or accidental, unfold in intricate patterns. The love you share, the friendships you foster, the dreams you chase. These moments give shape to your existence. They blossom vividly before you, fleeting wisps in a summer breeze. This realization invites you to hold tighter to connections, for you understand now that they are not merely moments to be experienced, but rare jewels to be cherished. As days turn to years, nostalgia seeps in, tugging at your heartstrings. You reminisce about past laughter echoing through rooms, melded with bittersweet memories of time slipping away. You ponder how little it takes for a moment to become a cherished recollection. In acknowledging the fragility of what you hold dear, you learn to delve deeper into your experiences, to invite reflection and awareness. Yet there is an inherent tension. The fear of not capturing enough rises silently like a tide. In attempting to savor each fleeting second, do you overlook the beauty of spontaneous moments? Consumed by longing to make the most of this life, you risk forgetting that sometimes the best experiences are born from simplicity. Life escapes from perfection, flourishing in the unexpected. Ultimately, the recognition of your singular existence becomes liberating. You realize that instead of striving for permanence, it is the delicate dance of creation, the careful brushstrokes of living that define you. Your moments, these fleeting flashes, intertwine to form a vibrant mosaic, one that will never be duplicated. With that, you embrace this dance. You live fully, authentically, surrendering to the rhythm of your own unique life. And in that realization, the void stares back. Death is the price of awareness, consciousness, and mortality. A single candle flickers on a table, casting shadows against the wall. Its light is warm yet fragile, akin to moments alive with awareness. You sit at the table, contemplating the reality of existence entwined with mortality. To be aware is to grasp the slimmest thread of time, where life pulses with potential alongside the stark spectre of death. Every day you rise, acutely aware that consciousness breathes life into your existence. You engage with each moment, feeling pleasure, pain, and everything in between. Yet the cost is steep. With every thought, every connection, the indelible truth rests beneath. Death looms. This juxtaposition serves as a crucible, shaping your understanding of what it means to live fully. Philosophers and poets alike have wrestled with this inevitable friendship between life and death, questioning how awareness transforms your experience. The presence of mortality ignites a thirst for meaning. As the candle burns, its light reminds you to delve deeply into sensations and emotions. You become aware of laughter's weight, the touch of a loved one, the beauty of a sunlit morning. Yet, as you relish in these luxuries of understanding, you also confront the looming absence that defines life's transience. This tension becomes palpable. To awaken to existence is to acknowledge the possibility of an ending. You navigate realms of joy and sorrow, intertwining memories vivid and ephemeral. Each moment is infused with urgency and significance, yet also tainted with the bittersweet essence of eventual loss. You start to confront the paradox. Is the awareness of death a burden or a gift? With every tick of the clock, you understand that to appreciate life is to embrace its impermanence. You lean into the gratitude birthed from understanding, valuing connections and experiences for their fleeting nature. It is here, in this liminal space between being and nothingness, where life gains its richness. In surrendering to the realization that awareness carries the weight of loss, you find freedom. You learn to honor the silence that lingers beyond the candle's light. Mortality sharpens your lens and reframes existence, offering a profound depth that transcends the everyday. And in that embrace of mortality, the void stares back. When you sleep, time moves without you. Interrupted perception. The world outside your window hums with life. The sun rises and falls, people come and go, yet you remain cocooned in darkness. Each night, as you lay your head upon the pillow, consciousness fades, and time continues its relentless march without you. Sleep becomes an odd suspension, a realm where the clock's ticking becomes a phantom echo, whispering of a reality you have temporarily left behind. In this unconscious void, you lose touch with the passage of time. Hours stretch and compress, folding into a mesmerizing dance of rhythms only your mind may comprehend. It's as if the world turns without your input, a gentle reminder of your vulnerability. You grapple with this peculiar duality, the need for rest tempered by the awareness of time slipping through the cracks. In contemplating this interruption, you recognize sleep as both refuge and disconnection. Within dreams, you explore realms untouched by waking life. Fantasies, fears, memories swirling like wisps of smoke. Yet, upon waking, there's an eerie realization. You've lost pieces of reality that only exist in the daylight. Hours gone, moments passed without your grasp, politely ignored until the dawn breaks. As you move through life, the echoes of interrupted time linger. Sleep may provide respite, but it simultaneously highlights the fragility of existence. It unveils the unseen framework of daily interactions, revealing the preciousness of each second that may slip into the ether. This paradox becomes a pressing reminder of the temporal nature of life itself. You begin to confront the questions that arise in sleep's wake. What does it mean to exist within time? Can life's moments be esteemed if they happen independently of conscious experience? Each day, the vividness of laughter echoing in your mind shimmers with potential, urging you to remain grounded in the here and now. Through this understanding, sleep transforms from mere withdrawal to a powerful force. It reminds you to honor both the need for rest and the value of every breath. You integrate this duality, weaving it into the fabric of your being, embracing the reality that while time may move without you, you carry its essence within, and in that acceptance, the void stares back. Eternity is what you'll never feel, inaccessibility of the infinite. You gaze out into the vastness of the night sky, stars littering the darkness like scattered diamonds. The sheer expanse begs a question, the concept of eternity, both tantalizing and elusive. It stretches beyond your comprehension, a notion too grand to grasp fully. Here lies the exquisite paradox. While you ponder infinity, you are never granted the experience of perpetual time. You exist within the confines of fleeting moments. Eternity lingers at the edges of your thoughts, symbolic of all that you desire beyond the temporal realm. You crave permanence, but are bound by the rhythm of seconds, minutes, and hours. In understanding the limitations of human experience, you often confront a sense of longing intertwined with resignation. You are a creature of the present, yet your mind reaches toward the infinite, yearning for something that feels beyond grasp. Philosophers have mused on the nature of eternity, proposing that it exists outside the world of human experience. However, the human condition remains focused on the moments that pass, births, losses, and everything in between. Each heartbeat reminds you of your existence stitched together amid time's fabric. The understanding of eternity ignites a yearning for transcendence while revealing the boundaries of your experience. The awareness of temporal nature induces an existential tension, urging you to fill every second with meaning, yet also tethering you to the notion that life is fleeting. Moments dissolve into memories, and time swirls around you like autumn leaves captured in a breeze. As you contemplate the infinite, you realize your humanity thrives within these ephemeral experiences, reflecting the beauty that resides in the transient. Yet, acknowledging the limitations of your insight fosters a profound appreciation for the here and now. Rather than seeking the ineffable, you cultivate presence. Each interaction, each breath becomes a celebration imbued with significance, a conscious choice to engage with the fleeting rhythm of existence. In this embrace of the temporal, you cultivate meaning, weaving little threads of eternity into the fabric of daily life. While infinity may remain elusive, the essence of your experience holds a depth filled with vibrancy and tenderness. And in that recognition, the void stares back. Death is happening while you read this. Existential urgency. As you turn the pages of a book, your mind flickers between words and thoughts, lost in the narrative. And yet, there is an insistent reminder alongside the prose, a gentle breath of urgency. Death is happening while you read. Without fanfare or announcement, life ebbs and flows, a relentless current sweeping through existence. You may feel detached, immersed in the sanctuary of your thoughts, yet this awareness is not to remain silent. Death nudges you, pulls at the edges of your consciousness, a stark acknowledgement that time does not wait for your moment of reflection. Each heartbeat echoes a finality in the distance, a whisper heralding the fragility of life itself. The world outside moves on, unaware of the weight each moment carries. Lives are lost amid ordinary events, unnoticed. You ponder the paradox. Existence continues, while time marches toward an end for many. The urgency compels you to dwell in the present, to seize the everyday joys, lest they dissolve into nothingness. You start to wrestle with this understanding. A paradox arises. How do you cultivate significance amidst the reality of mortality? The urgency birthed by death compels you to engage fully in the now, to recognize the beauty within the mundane, to seek depth in the simplest of interactions. Within this awareness lies a duality. While death instills fear and sadness, it simultaneously provokes vitality and action. The knowledge of impermanence becomes a catalyst for embracing the essence of living and loving fiercely. You learn to savor laughter, connection, and fleeting moments, understanding that time's gift is monster yet profound, lush with promise yet shadowed by decay. Through this existential lens, death sheds its cloak of despair and transforms into a source of empowerment. You realize your existence as a canvas painted with fleeting experiences, each stroke carrying the weight of aliveness. Reminded of your mortality, you cultivate urgency as a guiding force, not as a burden. And in accepting this truth, the void stares back. Time doesn't end, it just forgets you. cosmic indifference. Outside, the world spins on a course indifferent to individual hopes and dreams. Days rise and fall, clock hands tick away, yet you feel the shadows of forgetfulness lurking in the periphery. This awareness stirs a quiet urgency within you. Time does not owe you recognition or acts of remembrance. It merely flows, relentless and unyielding, sweeping away memories like autumn leaves caught in a gust of wind. As you reflect on this cosmic indifference, the familiar tension begins to surface. You strive to carve out significance, every laugh shared, every dream chased. But there's a nagging familiarity in the way these moments fade into the annals of history. You may be the protagonist in your own story, yet the universe remains unmoved, indifferent to the trials and triumphs that shape you. Each day lived becomes an exquisite balancing act. Time grants you the opportunity to experience life with vigor, but as you participate in its flow, you also watch the days slip into a haze. You realize that eternity seldom acknowledges individual stories. Indifference gently cradles existence. It erodes the edges of identities and ambitions, casting them into shadows cast by the bright light of advancing time. And so you ask, what remains when time stops paying attention? In between moments of elation and sorrow, how do you find enduring meaning? Perhaps it is in the very act of existence, the laughter shared, the love given, the impact made on others, that you can create semblances of permanence. In recognizing the vastness of time's indifference, you allow yourself to embrace impermanence and the fleeting nature of life. You learn to celebrate the richness of each encounter, understanding that while the wave of time will ultimately erode your presence, its tides can also carry the echo of your existence into another's soul. And thus, you find solace in this realization. In the permanence of transition, you carve significance from the ephemeral, recognizing that your moments, however brief, ripple through the fabric of those around you. And in that acceptance, the void stares back. You'll forget you ever existed. Post-mortem consciousness. A corner of your mind echoes with the morbid thought. One day, you will fade into the recesses of obscurity. As you breathe in deep, the finality of it all constrains you, urging you to confront the oddity of existence. A life lived teetering upon the edge of memory, aware that soon it will slip beneath the waves, forgotten which requests that question. What does it mean to truly exist? You navigate your daily existence, perhaps comfortably lost in routines, traits, joys, and sorrows, stitching together a rich tapestry of life. Yet, as consciousness blossoms, there's an undercurrent lurking beneath the surface. What happens when that consciousness flickers out? When the pulse slows and the world continues unbothered by your absence? Do you lose identity? Do you dissolve into the ether without leaving a trace? The notion of being forgotten stirs in you a cocktail of anxiety and determination. Living with that knowledge invites you to etch your existence into the memories of those you cherish. Each smile shared, every word spoken becomes a small rebellion against the inevitability of obscurity, a desire to remain present even in absence. The unceremonious truth gnaws at the edges of your thoughts. Those you love and care for will forge ahead, framing their lives around their own narratives. Your existence will dim, merging into their unfolding stories until the last vestiges of memory fade. Yet, within this realization, you find an affirmation. It compels you to reach outward, to imprint your essence through acts of kindness, gratitude, and love, to resonate within the hearts of those who continue to breathe. Each laugh shared becomes a note in the larger symphony of existence, a harmonious echo buoyed by the connections you foster. You embark upon this fleeting life, not with despair, but with purpose, understanding that while individual entities wane, love remains tied to the fabric of memory, passed down like threads from generation to generation. And as you piece together these moments, the void stares back, a gently arresting reminder of both fragility and beauty intertwined. Everything will become dust, even the words that tried to prevent it. Linguistic entropy. An old book lies open before you, its pages crinkled, words pressed into existence. Each sentence stands as a monument to thought. Ink flows like life captured in a linear format. Yet amidst the grandeur of communication, there lies a quiet inevitability. Time will dissolve these words into dust, erasing even the most passionate pleas as the endless march of entropy unfolds. As you ponder the fragility of language, the layers of meaning begin to shimmer like heat rising from pavement. The irony is potent. While words construct bridges across thoughts and emotions, they are also but fleeting utilities, moments of clarity bound for disintegration. This dichotomy speaks volumes about existence, underscoring how every attempt to anchor moments, memories, or feelings slips through fingers like grains of sand. You realize the urgency born from this recognition. While language can encapsulate beauty and complexity, it can never wholly contain the ineffable. It fails to bridge the entirety of the human experience, a lifetime etched in exchanges, interpretations, and misunderstandings. As the clock ticks, those emotions, once captured, begin their silent erosion into oblivion, ripe with histories and contexts that dance around them. And yet, this paradox of linguistic decay inspires you to engage more deeply. If impermanence is woven into the very fabric of life, perhaps the power of expression lies not in the pursuit of permanence, but in the authenticity of emotion conveyed in the moment. You seek clarity, unchained from expectations, choosing instead to appreciate the evanescent beauty of expression rife with intention. In this embrace of ephemeral language, you learn to speak with fervor, and authenticity flows into your interactions. Each uttered word becomes a celebration of existence, a testament to the lives intertwined through communication, nonetheless layered with complexity. The realization stirs within you. Every encounter is a brief flame in the vastness of eternity. And as you acknowledge this truth, the void stares back, a gentle reminder of what remains beyond memory. Time is an animal that eats everything. Entropy as a predator. In the quiet of an empty room, time ambles like a creature rummaging through its surroundings. As it prowls, it devours the very fabric of existence, feasting on each moment until nothing remains but echoes of what once was. Bits of laughter, fragments of joy, love conversations, all dissolve into dust under its insatiable appetite. Time is not a mere passage. It is a ravenous predator. You feel its gnawing presence as days accumulate, fueled by the relentless ticking of the clock. Each hour blends seamlessly into the next, blurring the boundaries of reality. Memories once vivid begin to fade, washing away under the weight of forgetfulness. You confront the unsettling truth. Time will consume everything, leaving only shadows in its wake. This awareness conjures a sense of vulnerability. The treasures you hold dear are not safeguarded from the slick claws of time. Relationships may wither or grow distant, the rich tapestry of your life interwoven with both connection and loss. You begin to question, how do you preserve significance in a world ruled by entropy? Reconciliation lies not in avoiding the storm, but in surrendering to its inevitability. Each moment lived encapsulates an invaluable lesson. Time's consumption becomes an invitation to savor the experience with fervor. Rather than grip tightly to permanence, you grasp instead at presence, the awareness that exists within every heartbeat, every breath. In recognizing the ebb and flow, you lean into the tenderness of existence, the laughter shared with friends, the solace of sunrise. Each becomes a precious grain amid the tides of time. As the predator prowls, you choose to live fully, to create and celebrate amidst the knowing that time will ultimately reclaim its jewels. And in that acceptance of the cycle, the void stares back, holding the promise of renewal in its silent depths. Each second is a broken step on the stairway to eternity, temporal uncertainty. Time approaches cautiously, like a dancer stepping upon a creaky stairway. Each second trembles beneath your weight, as if its linearity teeters on the brink of uncertainty. These moments, fragile yet compelling, constitute the stepping stones of your existence, a rhythmic ascension toward the nebulous notion of eternity. You observe life unfurling around you, yet you grapple with a fluctuating sense of being and purpose. Each tick of the clock fractures reality's smooth veneer. In moments of joy, seconds stretch like elastic, while in sorrow they hitch beneath an oppressive weight. This dissonance knocks you off balance, revealing the precarious nature of existence layered within the unfolding moments. Step by step, you begin to confront the possibility that the pathway is by nature uneven. The expectation of time flowing seamlessly gives way to uncertainty. Unexpected events disrupt what you envisioned. Each experience highlights the fragility of transitions, the chance to ascend towards something greater, constantly mingled with the weight of unpredictability. As you navigate the staircase, you contemplate the concept of temporality. Each second seems disconnected, yet it weaves the fabric of your reality. Those steps forward, falter and sway, often leave you unsure of where they may lead. The acknowledgement of uncertainty breeds a bittersweet freedom, allowing you to recognize that every choice carries potential and risk. Learning to dance amidst this imperfect rhythm becomes essential. You start to appreciate the beauty of being lost along the way, where unpredictability fosters chance encounters and deep connections. Each imperfection compels you to engage deeply with life, and in that engagement, seconds transform from fragments into meaningful marks of existence. You finally realize that time is both a pathway and a teacher, a complex journey binding you to both the present and the infinite. Embracing its broken rhythm opens doors to possibility, inviting you to honor the ascent while cherishing every step. And upon that realization, the void stares back. Death doesn't come from the future. It already lives here. Immediacy of death. You step outside on a cool morning, the air crisp, brimming with the scent of dew-kissed grass. As you gaze at the world around you, the hum of life pulls you into a comforting lull. But beneath that calm exterior lies a stark realization. Death is not a distant event awaiting you. It is woven into the very fabric of each moment, ever present, quietly living beside you. Death isn't confined to a singular endpoint. It breathes alongside you, hidden in the mundane. There is a tautness in this awareness that feels both liberating and unsettling. With every heartbeat, you inch closer, not only to the end, but to a deeper understanding of your own existence. You find that to be alive is to dance with the spectre of mortality, momentary steps lost against the unfurling tapestry of time. In conversations with friends or strangers, it becomes painfully clear. They carry their own burdens of grief, anxieties about their fleeting moments. As you share laughter, you also feel the weight of acknowledgement, the silent understanding that none can evade their fate. It's within this duality that life pulses vigorously, a reminder that while existence may elude permanence, it also offers rich experiences to relish. You sift through memories, realizing they are underscored by an urgent significance. Every interaction becomes more profound when viewed through the lens of impermanence. Relationships flourish against the backdrop of shared vulnerability, becoming stronger when acknowledged. Each moment of connection ignites life, revealing a vitality that courses through the interplay of existence and non-existence. Embracing this truth invites a new sense of urgency. Each breath taken, each smile shared, feels brighter, loaded with intention. You learn to live fully, holding tightly to the present, relinquishing the clutches of anxiety surrounding your eventual end. Rather than waiting for a distant conclusion, you find purpose in the immediacy of each second lived. Inwardly, you grapple with the notion of what it means to truly exist in the shadow of death. You decide to harness it, making the most of today, understanding that life doesn't wait to grant you clarity. It simply unfolds moment by moment. And within those moments becomes the magic of experience, crafting meaning across the canvas of time. And in that understanding, the void stares back. You'll never finish what you started. Existential interruption. The pencil hovers above the blank page, ready to draw out the world from your mind. Thoughts race, characters weave their stories, and yet, an insistent whisper creeps in. What if you never complete this? The ambiguity of endings lies heavy in the air, an uncomfortable presence lurking at the corners of your imagination. You ponder the irony of arrival. It's in reaching for resolution that you often feel the sharp pang of interruption. Life unfolds as a series of unfinished narratives. Dreams paused mid-flight, conversations halted by fate, plans abandoned at the intersection of reality. Each beginning carries the weight of possibility, yet the inherent uncertainty disrupts your journey. You recognize it's not merely failure to complete tasks. It's the constant push against time that entangles you in an intricate dance with existence. With each undertaking, there lies a delicate interplay of intention and reality. Plans may seem driven by purpose, but in a world teetering on unpredictability, those intentions often fall prey to circumstance. As you navigate relationships, careers, and routines, the inevitability of loss seeps in, inviting frustration and longing for completion. Yet, within this existential interruption emerges a grittier truth. Life's beauty lies not necessarily in tying loose ends, but in exploring the rich fabric of the in-between. Each fragment, no matter how disjointed, contributes to the whole. You learn to embrace the unfinished, to find significance in pathways never fully realized. In acceptance, you cultivate depth within the abrupt pauses. Instead of pursuing solely closure, you realize the moments in between hold exceptional beauty, friendships flourishing, self-discovery burgeoning, and lessons revealing themselves in unexpected ways. The journey becomes the story unfurling before you, imbued with texture and meaning, even in its incompleteness. Ultimately, you embrace the delight in the interruptions, those unexpected turns that shape your narrative. It's here, amid uncertainty, that you learn the truth of existence. You may never finish what you started, but that should never dim your exploration of life's rich offering. And in that exploration, the void stares back. Living is saying goodbye in different words. Cycles of loss. You stand at the edge of a familiar path, surrounded by echoes of laughter and whispers of memories shared. As you reflect, a subtle ache arises within you. In this existence, saying goodbye takes on many forms. Every shift, every change represents a loss, a gentle reminder that each moment must eventually yield to another. Throughout life, farewells cloak ordinary experiences. The innocence of childhood fades, relationships evolve or dissolve, and dreams transform as circumstances shift. A sense of melancholy lingers, woven into the fabric of every encounter. This perpetual cycle informs how you engage with the world, how you cherish and release simultaneously. You revisit significant moments, a friend moving away, parents growing frail, lovers drifting apart. Each one becomes a lens to view the inevitability of transition. Each goodbye surfaces a swath of emotions, a reminder that love, too, is never static. As bonds deepen, so does the understanding of fragility that comes with an iterative release. Yet, amid this reality, you find layers of beauty intersecting with loss. Every goodbye stirs growth. The empty spaces become passages that forge connections anew, leaving room for fresh encounters. Living means accepting that endings are the breeding grounds for beginnings. Acknowledging loss allows you to savor moments, the moments you might have overlooked in their simplicity. In your practice of this recognition, saying goodbye shifts from a painful act to an acknowledgement of life's impermanence. You learn that each farewell offers the opportunity to be fully present. The echoes of laughter and sorrow intermingle, creating a resonant harmony that imbues each moment with meaning. Ultimately, you come to understand that living is not just about holding tightly to what you love. It is also about learning to let go. Within the cycle lies an inherent freedom. The knowledge that while you may part ways, the connections carved remain tethered to your heart. And in that recognition, the void stares back. Death needs no reason. It just happens. Existential randomness. Through a cracked window, a soft breeze slides through, rustling leaves outside. Each gust carries whispers of the unknown, echoing the randomness of existence. Death, much like that wind, arrives unannounced, offering no justification, no assurance. It simply unfolds, shifting the landscape of life in unpredictable ways. You bear witness to the duality of your narrative. The moments of joy and struggle intertwine, forming a rich cloth of experience. Yet, the spontaneity of mortality transforms ordinary moments into something deeply profound. With each heartbeat, the knowledge lurks that life could shift irrevocably. A loved one's laughter might become an echo, their presence flickering like a candle's flame. Existence comes entwined with uncertainty. Nothing is ever truly secure. You observe the fragile beauty in the act of living. A connection forged, a kiss shared, or words exchanged may dissolve in an instant. Each experience is laden with existential weight, pushing you to confront the arc of unpredictability woven throughout life itself. This awareness breeds a paradoxical mix of exhilaration and trepidation. While unpredictability evokes fear, it also charges life with a potent vibrancy. You start to realize that each moment becomes alive with potential. It prompts you to engage fully, savor deeply, and embrace every fleeting second offered to you. In racing against a world that feels indifferent to the fragility of existence, you understand that chaos carries its own importance. Life blooms amid randomness and uncertainty. It holds the capacity for both sorrow and joy, ebbing and flowing without formality. And so, you choose to breathe deeply into the chaos, opting for wholeness over fear. In understanding that death is arbitrary, your focus shifts from anticipated outcomes to immediate experiences, anchoring yourself in the abundance of now. And in embracing this flow, the void stares back. Time is the great editor of reality. Narrative erosion. As dusk settles, shadows stretch across your thoughts like a drawing in pencil, softly fading. You consider the ability of time to reshape narratives as it slips through unyielding fingers. What once felt vivid can blur into abstraction over time. Memories decompose, and clarity erodes into obscurity. Time acts as both rain and sun, nurturing yet cleansing, a force that transforms all it touches. Life unfolds in a series of chapters, each one infused with its own story. Some moments sparkle with vibrancy, while others settle quietly into memory, losing their defined shapes. As you inch along this timeline, you begin to feel the weight of loss within every erasure, how laughter turns to whispers, promises dissolve, and moments fade away. Your reality shifts as time layers intervene. You reflect on memories once etched sharply, which now feel distant, rendered vague by the passage of years. The immediacy of sensations fades into pastels, blending into histories that you hardly recognize. Each new experience seems laced with hints of nostalgia, exposing the cruelty of time's editorial hand. Time does not simply advance, it actively rewrites the narrative, stripping layers until what remains is only a ghost of what once was. You begin to question the nature of reality itself. If every moment is subject to alteration, what does it mean to hold on to memory? Where do you find permanence amid the eroding fabric of experience? This realization beckons to reframe your perspective. Rather than lamenting the erosion, you can choose to dwell in the richness of the unfolding narrative. Finding meaning may lie in the layers themselves, where joy and sorrow intermingle, reminding you that every chapter offers breadth. Embracing the ongoing evolution of reality invites new layers of appreciation, enabling you to relish the uncertainty that life bestows. You learn that while time may shape and sculpt, the heart remains resilient, weaving connections through the cycles of existence. And in that understanding, the void stares back. The void always stares back.